am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. So this is an introductory episode where we are going to link tarot cards with MBTI. So many people have tried to link MBTI to a lot of different concepts such as astrology. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the relationship between tarot cards and MBTI. In case you are not aware, tarot cards are used for divination, and a deck of tarot cards consists of 78 different cards. So in a deck, there will be 22 major cards, 40 minor arcana cards, and 16 court cards. So what are court cards? Court cards are picture cards.
A 13 is not very good.
So in the poker deck, you have court cards as well. So the Jack, Queen, and King are the court cards. But in a poker deck, there are only 12 court cards. For tarot, there are 16. Does 16 sound very familiar? Yes, because there are exactly 16 MBTI types. So the 16 court cards can match to the 16 MBTI types. And we're going to talk about how to do it. So there are a lot of different systems that you can find online that can match an MBTI type to a particular court card in tarot. So I personally use the one that is the easiest to understand. But first, let me show you an example of what court cards are. So I have some court cards in front of me. So this court card is the Page of Cups. Then we have a Knight of Cups over here. We have a Queen of Cups. And finally, we have the King of Cups over here. So there are 4 suits in tarot: the Cups, the Wands, the Pentacles, and the Swords. It is almost the same as poker cards, because in poker cards we have clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades. So cups in tarot correspond to hearts in the poker cards. Wands correspond to clubs. So the Pentacles in tarot correspond to diamonds. And finally, the swords correspond to spades. So symbolically, they are very similar. So in the poker cards, as I have mentioned, there is the Jack, Queen, and King. So in tarot cards, there are actually an extra character, and that is the Page. So I'm just showing you one example of a page. This is the Page of Cups. So you can treat the Page as a character in between 10 and Jack. In tarot, the Jack is the Knight. So an example of this is the Knight of Cups. So since the cups correspond to hearts, so this Knight of Cups is equivalent to the Jack of Hearts. Of course, we also have the Queen. So this is the Queen of Cups. So an equivalent of this is the Queen of Hearts. And we have the King of Cups. So the equivalent will be the King of Hearts. But what I am showing you here is the Waite series. So there are a lot of different tarot decks. So just to start things off, I am using the most basic deck, and they call it the Waite series. So back to our topic, how do you match the 16 court cards to the MBTI? First, the Pages and the Knights are corresponding to the P-types, because in tarot, these are the less mature characters. Oops. So being the less mature characters, the Pages and the Knights are supposed to use it functions. We will always look at the Knights and Pages as the P individuals. So the next general rule for this system is that Pages and Queens are introverts, and the Knights and the Kings are extroverts. But of course, in real life, this does not mean that the female is introverted. It's just that in order for us to match the tarot card to the MBTI, this is the system that we should use. Okay, so we have already addressed the EI domain and the JP domain. So now let's talk about intuition versus sensing functions. So in tarot, the cups and the swords are intuitive, while the pentacles and the wands are sensing. Also, when we talk about thinking and feeling functions, the swords and the pentacles are thinking functions, while the cups and the wands are feeling functions. This may sound a little bit confusing, so I've summarized this on a table so you can see. So if your MBTI consists of N and T, then you belong to the Swords family. If your MBTI consists of the alphabets N and F, then you belong to the Cups family. Wait a minute, why does it sound like the Sorting Hat in Harry Potter series?
Ha! Another wheeze.
Okay, let's continue. If your MBTI type has S and F in the 4 alphabets, then you belong to the Wands family. Finally, if your MBTI type has S and T, then you belong to the Pentacles family. Okay, so it is actually very easy to recognize which chord card corresponds to your MBTI type. But to make things easier for you, I have summarized it on the next PowerPoint slide. And here you see. So for those who are not familiar with the tarot cards, I am going to show you the card that corresponds to your MBTI type. Let's start with the cups. So we have the INFP, and it corresponds to the Page of Cups. So this is the Page of Cups, INFP. Next, the ENFP is the Knight of Cups. So we have the Queen of Cups, and that is the INFJ. Finally, the King of Cups is the ENFJ. So let's move on to the Wands family. So this is the Page of Wands. So this person is the ISFP. So just to show you closer, we have the Knight of Wands, and this person is the ESFP. This is the Queen of Wands. This is the ISFJ. And we have the ESFJ, King of Wands. Now let's move on to the Pentacles family. This is the Page of Pentacles, sometimes also known as the Page of Coins, depending on the tarot deck. So this is the ISTP. We have the ESTP, the Knight of Pentacles. I now feel like I am doing a pick a card reading channel, okay? So this is the Queen of Pentacles. This is the ISTJ. We have the King of Pentacles. This is the ESTJ. Finally, let's move on to the Swords family. First, we have the Page of Swords. This is the INTP. We have the Knight of Swords. This is the ENTP. INTJ is the Queen of Swords. Finally, for the ENTJ, you are the King of Swords. So in tarot, every of these 16 chord cards has its own characteristics and personality. But does this characteristic or personality corresponds to the description of the MBTI stereotype at least? So we're going to discuss this in our future episodes. So down the road, every episode that I release, I'm going to talk about a single chord card, and I'm going to use different decks to describe these MBTI types. And you can see for yourself, actually it can be really accurate. So if you are new to this channel, we are actually a psychology channel, and we do a lot of MBTI videos. If you have enjoyed this video, or you are curious to know more about the relationship between tarot and MBTI, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more MBTI and fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you in my next episode. Goodbye!